So the question we're going to be addressing today is, can attraction marketing really work for you? I mean, really, can it work for you? Well, to answer this question, I think the place we need to start is by defining what attraction marketing is. And I think without the contextual understanding of what attraction marketing is, it's really difficult to answer any questions about whether it will work. So what is attraction marketing then? Attraction marketing is simple. It's a battle-tested, proven strategy that combines the principles of direct response marketing, of social influence, or what I call positive social influence, and the strategy of preeminence. So those are the three things that they are. I don't want to talk about each of these three things, and I haven't talked about this publicly often. So if you're tuning in and if you're getting value from this, if this is the first time hearing about it, I want you to go ahead and let me know what your takeaways are as you're listening to this. And also, as always, if you know of somebody who can get value from what I'm sharing here, please invite them to watch this video and let me know how you're enjoying the content as well. So first things first, let's define the first one of those elements. We talked about the three, the direct response advertising, direct response marketing, social influence, I call it positive social influence, and then the strategy of preeminence. So direct response marketing. So what is direct response marketing? Well, it's a way of advertising that that wants you to take an action right away. It elicits an immediate response, like say buying a product or signing up for an email list or clicking on a link or whatever. And it uses things like emails, it uses things like ads, radio ads, TV commercials, whatever, or infomercials to get you to take an action right away. And the cool part about direct response advertising, as opposed to brand marketing, you might have heard of brand marketing. That's what most advertising dollars are spent on. But the great thing about direct response marketing is that you can actually externally verify the effectiveness of your advertising by tracking metrics. You can see how it's working for you by seeing how many people actually responded to what you asked them to do. So that's the really cool thing about direct response marketing. It is a multi-billion-dollar sector. When I say multi-billion-dollar sector, just online sales alone, hundreds of billions of dollars per year. So does direct response marketing work? Well, externally, objectively, externally verifiable, objectively, yes, like it absolutely works, right? So that's the first thing we needed to define, which was direct response marketing. Now I want to define something that's a little bit trickier to define because there's different people who define it in different ways. It's called social influence. Some people call it social dynamics. And I added the word positive social influence because I think it's really important that we approach this in a very authentic way and a way that's beneficial to people, because influence is a neutral power. It can be used for the powers of good. It can be used for evil. We might call that manipulation, or it can be used just as a neutral effect. And we're all under influences every single day. We're under the influences of other people, under the influences of our internal belief systems, our biases. So there's a lot of things that influence our behaviors. Social influence specifically is how the people around you in your sphere of influence, like friends, like family, or even strangers or communities that you're a part of, how they influence and affect how you think, how you feel, or what you do. And if you've ever wondered that, if you've ever been around people and they've talked about, I don't know, a song or something like that, or music, you might find yourself listening to that stuff. If you're dressing in a certain way, it's because it's in style, right? So this is examples, simple examples of social influence. And that's what it looks like at work. And it can happen in really big ways, like following major trends, like politics, for example, or small ways, like even choosing where to eat based on a friend's suggestion or what you see on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. So there's a lot of things that play with social influence. And one of the strategies, the way that we kind of use a framework of social influence, the way I learned this was from Robert Cialdini's 6 Principles of Influence. And what that gives us is a framework for really understanding how people are influenced and persuaded to change their attitudes, their beliefs, and their actions, thereby giving us a way, a framework, a methodology of how to use social influence tactically. So the principles of influence that Robert Cialdini talks about, I hope I'm saying that name right. It might be Cialdini. I don't know. I never learned how to say it. I've read his books. But the principles are reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, authority, liking, and scarcity. I had too many fingers, but there's 6 of them, I promise. So that's social influence. That's the number 2 thing that's really, really important to understand about when it comes to what attraction marketing actually is, how we define it, right? This is really, really important stuff. If you want to learn the skills of attraction marketing, want to apply them in your business, and it's really important to understand this stuff that I'm talking about. And what's cool is this is one of the first times I'm actually talking about all 3 of these at once, these driving forces behind this whole idea of attraction marketing. So the third thing we need to find what the strategy of preeminence is. It's about being the go-to expert, the leader in your field, so that people naturally come to you for advice, for information, to learn about products, to learn about services. It's like being the preeminent leader, the big fish that everyone sees as the thought leader in your industry, the person that everyone likes, knows, and trusts. So you're not just trying to sell stuff using the strategy of preeminence. You're actually looking to help people out and help them solve their problems. And by doing that, you actually become the trusted expert and you get more customers, you get more fans who love what you offer and keep coming back for more. And that's the whole idea of how do I give value? How do I share without want? These are all parts of the strategy of preeminence. It's what really separates what a lot of people are doing, like just cold direct response marketing and using influence. This strategy of preeminence aligns the idea of how can I serve? How can I be a servant leader with everything I'm doing? So that's kind of the overarching framework that keeps attraction marketing such a positive force. So really, really important stuff. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And with that said, with that understanding of what attraction marketing is at its core, we can now kind of start to approach the specific questions that cross our desks every single day, that our specialists get, that our coaches get, that our mentors get every single day about attraction marketing and will it work, right? So if that idea of attraction marketing makes sense to you, if that definition of it is different or unique or kind of clicked for you, make sure you check out the link in the description to learn more. So now we can kind of start to address the questions like, will it work for my company? Will this work for my product? What if I'm not allowed to promote my product online or my opportunity online? Will it work if I've tried other things in the past, other strategies or things that didn't work in the past? Here's one we love. What percentage of people who use attraction marketing succeed? And another one we actually had somebody who insisted that they needed proof that attraction marketing worked, and they wouldn't join us unless we could show them somebody in their company, their network marketing company, who was successful with attraction marketing. I'm going to address these questions in a second, but before I get into the nitty-gritty of addressing each of these questions, I want to briefly talk about human psychology, because this is super important and it really relates to the hidden question, the real question lingering beneath almost all of these other questions that we're going to tackle today. So human nature is what it is. And there are certain qualities, there are certain predictable behaviors that go along with being a human being. And these qualities and behaviors are hardwired into us. We can no more change human nature than we can change the tides or stop the sun from rising or setting. So in order to answer these questions, I think it's important to address them from the proper context. And so going back to what we defined earlier with regards to what attraction marketing is, we know direct response marketing, for example, is a multi-billion-dollar sector. So it's verifiable that it works. We know this. It's proven, right? We know that social dynamics and influence are real factors that affect us, that play a role, at least to some extent, in the decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis. And we know that the strategy of preeminence is not only a powerful way to really set ourselves apart in a noisy and crowded marketplace and to create goodwill and trust with people, but we also know it's just a better way of doing business that appeals to and uses the highest nature of human beings, that aspirational nature, the moral high ground that we all want to have aspirationally, the idea of being a servant leader, of creating value in advance, of telling the truth, no matter what the consequences are, of selflessly giving, and actually really, really, truly caring about the people that we want to help. These principles just make sense. And when we can learn the skills of direct response marketing, when we learn how to leverage social influence, and we keep the overarching strategy of preeminence around that so that we're approaching it with integrity, with authenticity, with connecting with who we are, connecting our head and our heart, then that's how we can be authentically more influential and more attractive to our ideal prospects. That is attraction marketing in action. That's what it means to be an attraction marketer. So, are you an attraction marketer? And this is really something that anyone can decide right now. You could say, you know what, maybe I don't have the direct response skills yet, but I'm willing to say, yes, I'm an attraction marketer and I'm leaning into learning those skills. Yes, I believe and I understand the importance of social influence or positive social influence. And the idea of strategy of preeminence really resonates to me, being a servant leader, giving without want. So now let's just get into the tactical, let's tackle each question. We'll get into the tactical answers to these questions, but you can almost answer these questions now without even answering them, because we've answered the external question. We haven't yet addressed the internal question, which is actually, I think, the real question most people have when they're thinking about, hey, should I align with you guys? Should I work with you guys? Should I get coaching from you guys? Look, I can tell you, we are the preeminent authority on attraction marketing. We created it almost 2 decades ago. My business partner, former student of mine, created the term attraction marketing and leveraged many of these principles. So it absolutely works. We are the preeminent market leader in teaching this. We've taught more people than anyone. Anyone who's teaching attraction marketing learned from us or our students or our students' students. But I think it's important to understand the context of attraction marketing, what it really truly is and how it works. And then we can start tackling some of these questions. And the questions almost become they're not relevant anymore once you address that. So will it work for my company? Well, does direct response marketing work? We know it does. It's multi-billion-dollar, hundreds of billions of dollars per year online sales. However, social influence, this is where we leverage things like social media, like video, like we're doing right now, like groups, like Instagram, TikTok. These are all social platforms that are completely driven by social influence. So it's working right now, whether you leverage it or not. And if you don't learn the skills, somebody else is, right? They're learning those skills and they're using it right now to attract people, to attract their perfect prospects for everything that you can think of. Look, we have students that have learned what we've taught them and gone on to create real estate brokerages, to create financial planning companies, where financial advisories, to all kinds of stuff. We've had people go to law school and become lawyers and build big law firms. Like anything you can imagine, we've had students that have come learn these skills over the last almost 2 decades and built amazing companies. So yes, it works in your network marketing company because human nature is human nature. People want to solve problems. And direct response marketing is all about, how do I help you solve problems? Social influence or positive social influence is, how do I build a community? How do I attract my perfect prospects to me? How do I create influence authentically using the strategy of preeminence? So yes, it works for your company. Will this work for your products? It's simple. People buy products to solve a problem. So as an attraction marketer, we learn the skills of who is my perfect prospect, what is their problem, how can I help them solve that problem, and how can I connect my product with helping them solve their problem. It's really a simple strategy. It's not always easy. That's the reason we teach people. We have skills to learn how to do this, but it's really actually simple, and it's easy to answer the question, will this work for my products? Absolutely, 100% of the time it works. Right? We know it's true. We've had people that have sold every single type of product that you can imagine. Another question that we get a lot is, will it work if I'm not allowed to promote on the internet, promote my company online? The way we teach you how to use attraction marketing is you're not selling products. You're not direct selling products. That's not what we teach. What we teach you how to do is build a brand. And this brand is an extension of who you are. That's your brand. So what if I'm not allowed to promote online? Well, this is all about building your own brand. Look, a network marketing company is a business. You don't own that business. That business, that company can go out of business anytime. That company can change their compensation plan whenever they want. Somebody in your upline can leave and take a big percentage of your downline with you. One of the 3-letter agencies can shut these companies down, right? You don't have ownership or control over the company. The beautiful thing about attraction marketing, the thing that makes attraction marketing so incredibly powerful and such a valuable asset, is you are building assets. You're building your own intellectual property. You have a following of people who like you, know you, and trust you. You have an email list. You have an online presence, right? That's not dependent on any one company. That's the power of attraction marketing. Nobody can take that away from you. And if you decide to go to another company, if one of those things that I mentioned earlier happens to your company, you always have options because you own the assets that you're building. And so that's what attraction marketing gives you. So if you're not allowed to promote online, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. You can still use attraction marketing. Another question we get is, well, I've tried attraction marketing in the past, or I tried a course or bought a product or went to a seminar or whatever, fill in the blank, in the past, and I failed. Look, I don't know. I can't answer what happened with you, what didn't work for you. I don't know. Only you know that. There's great training out there. A lot of our students do a fantastic job of sharing this strategy of attraction marketing. I frankly think we're the best. We're the first. We've done it longer. We have more success stories than anyone else. Nonetheless, there's a lot of people that have shared that. So we might need to go into a different question of what caused that problem in the past. Or maybe you just didn't have the right information. Or maybe you just didn't have the strategy that we teach today, where we have the 4 pillars that we often discuss, right? So maybe you didn't have that specific strategy. So if you don't have those 4 pillars, by the way, if you don't have all 4 of them, your journey, and by pillars, I'm talking about audience attraction, I'm talking about authentic influence, I'm talking about effortless enrollments, and then the tools of leverage, the things that give you leverage and time freedom. Different areas of your journey, you need to leverage each of those pillars. Very, very important that you have all of those pillars. So if you don't, that's what we teach. So I don't know what happened with you in the past if you've tried other things. What I can tell you is, if you believe and understand what attraction marketing is, and it sounds good to you, and you like the idea of using this in a different way to bring people to you, so you're not chasing them, convincing them, trying to, strong arm anyone into your business, then this is the best thing there is. This is the best option for you. So another one that we get often is, let's see. Yes. What percentage of people who join your programs, who use attraction marketing, actually succeed? Well, I'll tell you who doesn't succeed first. 100% of those who never get started do not succeed, obviously, right? Also, most of those who half-heartedly apply the strategy, or do only a little bit of it, or do one Facebook Live, or write a couple of emails, or whatever, fill in the blanks, but half-assed do it, sitting on the fence, kind of tiptoeing over it, and only halfway doing stuff. Look, this training, attraction marketing, learning the skills, it's work. You have to learn new skills. I think it's the most valuable skill set you can have, bar none. Nonetheless, it still takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy, and most importantly, it takes the right roadmap and consistently following through with that roadmap, the actions every single day, or at least consistently as for what makes sense for your calendar. So I don't know what percentage. There's a large percentage of people who actually apply this. I'd say 100% of people who apply this actually get results with it. So last question I'll address before I kind of wrap up here. And I think I want to talk about the hidden question. So stay for this one, because this is the biggest question we need to address for ourselves, but also our prospects, right? Your network marketing prospects. This is a question that most people don't address. And it's really critical, mission critical, that you're able to address that effectively. And we're going to address it. I'm going to address it for you here. So, so the last question I'll talk about is, I mentioned somebody, I think it was last month, who basically wanted to join our program, but needed somebody from their network marketing company to prove that it worked before they were going to join. That person set themselves up for failure. Look, at every single company at one time had the first person in their company to do this. Also, we've had over the last nearly 2 decades, I don't even know how many companies. People come, they go, they have their lives change. Whatever, things happen. So if it's an older company, chances are good that people have used this successfully, whether or not they're in our active community right now. So, and also, even if you posted in there and you said, hey, this is my company, is there anyone in here that's in my company? Like, what group has 100% engagement? 0. How many groups are you in right now? Do you see every single post in every single group you're in? I don't. I'm in dozens of groups. I don't see every post. So there's assumptions that are made a lot of times when people don't immediately see somebody in their company. Oh, it doesn't work for fill in the blank company because nobody here is successful with that. That's bullshit. Sorry, but it is. So I want to talk now about the lingering question, the one that's behind, and it relates to human psychology. We talked about this earlier, and I think this is important. And so, look, there's the hidden question, and the hidden question is this. The hidden question is really, can I do this? Can I actually do this? This is what your prospects are thinking. It's maybe what you're thinking about attraction marketing. Like, okay, I get it. Direct response marketing works. I totally 100% get that we're using this social influence, the positive social influence. I understand the strategy of preeminence. It totally makes sense. Thanks, Tim. TJ, people call me TJ. But can I actually do this? And that's the question that we have to overcome for our prospects. And then I'm going to overcome for you right now, or I'm going to attempt to. I'm going to endeavor to overcome for you right now. So there's a lot of other questions that are behind this question. Questions like, what if I fail? What if I lose money? What if it doesn't work and I'm embarrassed? What if I'm technically challenged? What if English isn't my first language? Or here's some deeper questions that are even scarier, that are a little bit darker. What if I'm not smart enough? What if I don't deserve success? What if I'm not good enough? These are questions that when a lot of people give you objections for your company, that tell you that they're not going to join you, or they say no to attraction marketing, for example, they're actually thinking these questions. And the convenient and easy thing to do is go, well, you didn't address my question about, does anyone in my network marketing company or have they succeeded with this? So it doesn't work. I'm out. It's a cop-out, and it's a cop-out on yourself. Look, all of us have internal dialogue or an inner voice. It's that little voice that always speaks up insistently, and it focuses on our weaknesses. It focuses on our problems. It focuses on our mistakes, and it tells us all the reasons we cannot do something. In psychology, remember we talked about psychology, it's human nature. In psychology, this is referred to as the inner critic, and we all have it. The question is, from me to you, from my heart to yours, is how much authority are you going to give that inner critic? How much authority are you going to give that voice? Are you going to allow that voice to control you, to keep you stuck, and to be the excuse that holds you back? Or are you going to take the path of self-leadership, the path that all world-class entrepreneurs, all athletes, all scientists, artists, and great minds have taken? Are you willing to separate yourself from the herd, separate yourself from the masses who buy fully into this idea of mediocrity, who live a life in complacency because they are slaves to their inner critic? Or are you going to be among those who choose the less trodden path, the path of champions? This is the question I'm going to ask you right now. And so if you believe that attraction marketing can help you, and you know that you want to have success, and you are truly convicted that this is the path that you want to take, and you want to go ahead and leverage the most powerful strategy for getting you there, then attraction marketing is your answer.